just trying to get used to doing it because I haven't done one in a while. But anyways, in tonight's video, I'm gonna be doing some more basketball talk. I know for some people on my channel, basketball isn't maybe the reason why you subscribed, or you're looking for something a little bit different. Tomorrow's video will 100% be a not basketball related video. I promise you that. But since March Madness is starting, and I kind of had a fun idea for a video, I thought I would get it done, get it out of the way really quickly, and then sort of do a normal, traditional ASMR video for tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And yeah, in tonight's video, from the title you can tell, we're going to be looking at a pretty cool idea, looking at some of the biggest March Madness upsets of all time, which sounds like a pretty fun time. And obviously, with March Madness going on yesterday and today, there's probably some we could even talk about in this video, but going to be just going over some, probably going to be a pretty quick video. Just wanted to do something a little bit different with the soft-spoken. Probably going to put some layered sounds in here as well. Going to be pretty nice and relaxing, hopefully. So let's get nice and relaxed, and let us get started. Well, like I was just talking about, since there are some games going on while you're watching this video, or they've already been done and over with, and I can't see into the future, there could be some upsets that happened today. But as of today, or yesterday for you watching this video, if you are watching this video live, we have here a pretty big upset that went down in this year's NCAA tournament. The 15th seed St. Peter's went up against the number 2 ranked Kentucky team in the year 2022, obviously. And yeah, they beat them. Definitely a pretty big upset. I wish there was more information on the stat line to this. I couldn't really find one. The other games we're going to be talking about have a lot more stats and cool things to talk about. This one I can't really talk a whole lot about because it just happened. But you would think for a 15 versus a 2 seed, something happened, Did they shoot a crazy amount of free throws, crazy amount of 3-pointers, the field goal percentage, turnovers, yada yada yada? Maybe something as insignificant as out-rebounding them. The funny thing is about these stats is that they are fairly similar to each other, which could probably be the reason why they beat them. As a 2 seed, you shouldn't be playing up to that sort of competition. The 15 seed should be playing up to you. For some reason, it seemed like Kentucky was almost playing to the hustle and the effort and the skill of the St. Peter Peacocks, which was very weird to see, not gonna lie. St. Peter shot 50%, Kentucky shot 42% from the field. Pretty interesting there. Then from the 3-point percentage, Kentucky made 4, St. Peter's made 9. Those are definitely some big numbers there, but nothing to a crazy, extravagant amount that you feel like that would have had to have happened for a 15 to beat a 2. But man, that is pretty wild. And also for the free throws, Kentucky shot 35 free throws this game. They shot 35, only making 65%. St. Peter's shot 21 free throws, making 18 of them. Obviously, you can tell there the shooting stroke of St. Peter's was just definitely slightly better. But again, in my opinion, even if these numbers stay the exact same, I feel like Kentucky probably should have still have beaten this team. So again, that was just one of them. I can really only kind of talk about. Here are a couple of other sort of quick ones to go through. Again, I don't want this video to be super long, just sort of a nice little quick sit-down video, maybe just to give out some information if this is kind of like an interesting thing you can sort of watch. Last year's March Madness tournament, which I feel like it was forever ago, even though it was during, the sort of whole pandemic, everybody stay inside ordeal. I didn't even really remember a lot of the March Madness games, which is kind of interesting to think about. But I did forget that actually last year we had a 2-15 upset as well, with Oral Roberts beating Ohio State. Totally forgot about that ever even happening, which is pretty funny. Ohio State were actually, for the closing line, so like the betting odds, they were a -15, which if if you know in basketball terms, betting terms, yada yada yada, that's a lot. That's a pretty crazy line for sure. The final score of the game was 75-72. Oh, and I probably should have said about the other one. St. Peter's beat Kentucky 85-79. So it wasn't even like, oh, you know, a lucky shot or blah blah blah. St. Peter's like beat Kentucky, which is pretty wild. And I guess you can't really say the same thing for the Buckeyes, because it's sort of a one-shot lead. Something could have happened maybe, but I don't know. That's definitely pretty wild. It says here that the reason why Oral Roberts beat Ohio State was for the poor shooting from the Buckeyes, shooting 5 of 23 from the three-point line, so only making 5 threes. That's pretty bad. And then shooting 50% from the free throw line, which again, I said it before, I'll say it again. I said it in my NCAA March Madness bracket maker video. Free throw shooting is maybe the most important stat when it comes down to March Madness, because almost every single game is close. You gotta make your free throws. And then Oral Roberts ended up shooting 11 threes, which is obviously 33 points right there, which is pretty insane. And also shot 14 out of 18 free throws that they got. 2 of their players scored 30 points by themselves. 60 points between 2 players may not sound a lot if you watch a lot of NBA basketball, but for NCAA, that's actually pretty insane for 2 players to go off like that. Seems like just the shooting stroke. We were pretty good for Oral Roberts, hitting 11 threes compared to the Buckeyes 5. My sort of perfect cocktail for an upset is definitely three-point shooting in general, getting more free throws. That's definitely my biggest thing. Is obviously if one player on a sort of upset team like a 15, obviously going up against the 2, one player hits 6 or 7 3-pointers. That's not too crazy of a thing to ask for, especially for NCAA guys who this is probably the biggest game they're ever going to play ever in their career, which is pretty sad to think about, but it's very true. That's how I'm assuming a lot of these guys are going to be coming up with these wins. So yeah, just last year, 2021, 15 Oral Roberts beating Ohio State. That's pretty crazy. Wow, in 2016 we have another 15 upsetting a 2 seed, going on for the closing line of a minus 16.5, which again is pretty insane of a stat line. Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders, went on to go up against the Michigan State Spartans, beating them 90-81. Again, that's not a lucky shot. That's not a missed call here and there. They beat Michigan State that game 90-81. That's a pretty hefty score, man. That's pretty wild. It says here that the Spartans played well offensively, shooting 55.6% from the floor and 45% from beyond the arc. But again, three-point shooting is what hurt them. The Blue Raiders hitting 11 of 19 three-pointers. Wow. 11 of 19. Yeah, 11 three-pointers, 33 points. Three-point shooting is definitely the biggest thing for an upset team. And I mean, if I'm a coach, someone in a locker room of, again, sort of a big upset team like that, man, I'm making my kids stay in there and shoot just a lucrative amount of three-pointers, practicing three-pointers left, right, and center, trying to get my guys into a good groove, a good shooting stroke for the upcoming game, because three-point shooting seems to be the telltale of a big-time upset. So that's pretty cool. Middle Tennessee, 2016, man, 2016 is the best year of all time in my opinion. Definitely for NCAA basketball, there was this upset, and then obviously the crazy championship game against, I think it was Villanova and North Carolina. They had those back-to-back potential game winners, and then Villanova hit that half-court shot. Man, that was a great March Madness for sure. Oh, here we go, finally, with a little bit of a nail biter of a game. 2001, 15 Hampton Pirates. Hampton Pirates. Interesting. Beating the number 2 Iowa State Cyclones. They also had a closing line of 17.5. Hampton beat Iowa by 1 point, 58-57, by a go-ahead bucket with the final 6.9 seconds remaining. Interesting. Yeah, it even says that Ohio had a chance but missed their game-winning layup. That's pretty sad. again, these kind of, I probably should have started with this one first because it is just sort of like a, a basket for basket. You're trading baskets with the other team, and they just so happen to make a basket. You so happen to miss a basket. Sort of like a game winner type thing. Those are obviously upsets, but those are sort of like those things that you sort of have to toss up in the air. Some teams that we were just talking about, I mean, that's a couple of mistakes here and there. And then again in 2016, Middle Tennessee beat the Michigan State Spartans by 9 points. This one is just a tip in with 6.9 seconds left, so and definitely maybe not as impressive, especially, man, for being such a low-scoring game, 58-57. That's pretty wild. Oh man, now here's a really good one, and maybe some bad luck for some of you guys out here picking these guys as your champions. I'll knock on wood for you. Knock on some wood for you guys. In 1993, the 2-seeded Arizona Wildcats ended up losing to the 15-seeded Santa Clara Broncos back in 1993. Oh my God. Arizona were a closing line of a -20. That is like, man, that is crazy. Santa Clara beat Arizona by 3 points, 64-61. So again, maybe sort of a buzzer beater 3 could have done something or something like that. I have no idea. But what's funny about this game is actually that freshman guard Steve Nash was on that Santa Clara team that beat this Arizona Wildcats team. Arizona had Damon Stoudemire that year, I'm pretty sure. It says here the only big reason why they ended up winning this game is because both teams were struggling to score the ball, which again, 60 points in a college basketball game, even that's kind of low for a college basketball game, especially for two teams that weren't even that great of defensive teams. But the thing is, Santa Clara shot 4 from 22 from 3, which again, not a very good telltale of what we were just talking about. But Arizona shot 5 of 15 from the 3. The difference was Santa Clara shot 37, pretty much 38% from the field. Arizona only shooting 30%. They only shot 30% on the game. Ooh, gives me chills. That's a very, very bad game. I would hate to have sort of had to watch and sat through that game. Probably not the greatest one, but I thought I would mention this one because, again, Steve Nash, legendary MVP, yada, 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 Hall of Famer, top 75 player, and going up against Damon Stoudemire, who definitely coming out of college definitely had a lot of upside, and actually ended up being a pretty talented NBA player, but pretty funny that those two guys ended up going against each other like that. And Santa Clara, I obviously I know I don't want to say I'm a big Arizona fan, but I am a fan of Arizona. And I didn't remember this. I had to sort of read it a little bit more and sort of like get more insight on it. But then I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Steve Nash beating the Arizona Wildcats in a big game like that. That's pretty wild. And probably lastly, we'll talk about here 2018. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 2018. Probably the biggest upset of all time. I mean, on this list, it's not listed as number 1, but I mean, it's the only time it's ever happened ever, I think. I think there's some record or stat we could see, but number 1 ranked Virginia. The Virginia Cavaliers, who aren't even in the March Madness tournament this year, which is pretty wild. They're usually always a pretty solid team. Losing to the 16-seeded UMBC Retrievers. I remember watching this game. I remember freaking out over this game. I was sitting on a reclining chair watching this game live. Absolutely insane. Definitely something when you were watching, you realize you're kind of like watching history, so you kind of just locked in on it a lot. I really remember the UMBC Twitter popping off. They gained like probably tens of thousands of followers just in that one day, that one game, and man, they were only minus 20.5 for the betting line, which is pretty wild, but still, it's a 1 seed against a 16 seed. I don't think probably anyone had that correct, unless maybe you went to the University of UMBC and sort of like memed that you guys would win, but man, that is absolutely insane. They ended up beating Virginia, get this, 74-54, a 20-point blowout, which is why I think it is the biggest upset of all the NCAA tournaments, because again, it's not a fluke buzzer beater. It's not a couple points here and there. It's not even because of this or that. They beat Virginia, which is pretty wild. It says here that the Virginia Cavaliers actually had national championship aspirations this year, and were actually pretty favored to maybe even go all the way, which is pretty wild. They were the ACC regular season and tournament champions that year, and ended up entering the Big Dance as the top overall seed, ranked number 1. Whoa. And ended up getting blown out, which is pretty wild. I think if I remember right, let me actually see if I can see something here. I think that one of their top players, which just so happened to be DeAndre Hunter, got hurt. I think, yes, this year, Virginia dealt with a curveball when future NBA lottery pick DeAndre Hunter broke his wrist in the ACC tournament, but apparently that didn't really sort of skew any of the guys ranking the team, again making him the top team in the nation at the time. Looking like they really needed him, which is pretty wild. Ending up losing that game again by 20 points. Opened up the second half of that game on a 17-3 run. Oh my god. That's pretty wild. Virginia actually going on in 2019, winning the entire tournament. But that year, definitely pretty sad. Not gonna lie, but that's pretty wild. Maybe some other really cool things we can talk about. Here are a couple of teams that were ranked, I guess the lowest, or maybe had the worst odds of winning the championship and ended up winning the tournament. 2014, UConn is actually the team that had the lowest odds of winning the tournament and ended up winning. I think that was the year that Kemba Walker and I think Sabaz Napier was also on that team. I think that's that team. I think, if I can remember right. That UConn team, definitely a lot of fun. I remember watching that game at home in my old room on my old boxed television. That was a really good game. Villanova in 85, UConn again in 2011. Wow, Florida in 2006, Arizona in 1997. So again, knock on wood, not trying to jinx Arizona, but Arizona could be their year. We're gonna have to find out. And then even Villanova in 2016 had a 15-1 odds, and UConn's was 95-1 odds to win a title that year. That's pretty wild. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this. I guess a little bit of a whisper, telltale of some of the biggest upsets in NCAA history. Definitely let me know, maybe down in the comments, maybe if you can remember any cool upsets for your favorite teams, or maybe the one that you find the most interesting, or maybe some more basketball ASMR ideas. Let me know definitely down in the comments, or maybe let me know how your bracket's doing. Would love to know. So yeah, hopefully you guys go check out the bracket making video. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support on that video. Again, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Give it a rewatch if you haven't yet. I'm definitely very proud of that video and how it came out, and you guys seem to really like it too, so thank you guys so much for that. Tomorrow's video will not be a basketball video, so thankful to all those other non-basketball fans out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy that one. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day or night, or whatever you're doing after watching this video. I'll see you again very, 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 very soon. Alright guys,